Good evening, lovely spirits. It's the wise servant, Mr. Solace speaking. Today I want to do this very interesting video called 6 Degrees of Separation. And I want to break down what that is because it's a very deep thing I need y'all to grasp. Now, this is a spiritual video, so you have to be somewhat in tune with your spirit to even grasp what 6 degrees of separation is. This is why men in today's times do not understand truly what 6 degrees of separation is. See, you have some people that's watching this video right now and they're thinking to themselves, I know what 6 degrees of separation is. It's that movie that Will Smith played in when he was gay. And that's not it, my child. You have to grasp. Now, I know there's others with a more expanded conscious, and they think 6 degrees of separation is the amount of separation between all living beings or their conscious or something of that sense. And that's not it either, my child. Now, I want to break down what 6 degrees of separation is, and it's a deep thing. But in order for y'all to truly grasp what 6 degrees of separation is, I need to explain to y'all first what degrees are. Then I need to go into this thing called the Lucifer experiment. And then I'll break down 6 degrees of separation, and you should fully grasp when I'm done. Now, first I want to go into degrees. And I need y'all to understand, degrees are much more deeper than y'all think. See, degrees are points of consciousness expanding. It's points of consciousness expanding in the shape and form. It's a deep thing you have to grasp, but you have 1 degree, 2 degree, all the way up to 360 degrees, even higher. But these are all points of conscious expanding into more complex conscious. So it's a deep thing. Now, all degrees have a shape. The higher the degree, the more complex the shape. Now, it's a deep thing. In order for y'all to truly grasp, I'm going to have to show y'all some images. Now grasp. All degrees have a shape. The higher the degree, the more complex the shape. Now look. You have 1 degree. And I know my nails are long. I'm fasting. Don't worry. I'll break that down at the end. But you have 1 degree. Now let's say you expand that 1 degree of conscious to 90 degrees of conscious. You have a shape now, like an L. When the conscious expands, you get shape and form slowly. Now let's say you expand that conscious a little more, and you get 180 degrees worth of conscious, and it has its shape. And this is also 180 degrees. There go one 90 degree, and another 90 degree. You get a box or a square. So all degrees, they take shape and form all the way till you get to 360 degrees. So that's a circle. So all degrees take shape and form. The higher the degree, the more complex the shape. So a hexagon is like 720 degrees. It's a deep thing. An octagon, it's like 1090, maybe 1080 degrees. And so on and so forth. And the more higher the degree, the more complex the shape. All the way till you get to things like a icosahedron. And it has 20 faces. So when you get into these deep shapes, you start getting living being forms, faces, and things like this. And the higher up you go, the more degrees of conscious you get. So degrees is truly a matter of conscious. So it's like heat. 10-degree heat. Then the heat expands. You get 20 degrees, 30, then 40, then 50. And the heat is like conscious. It's expanding, getting hotter and hotter. And the degree raises. And the flame takes more shape. So in any aspect of the life, this is what you'll have. The higher the degree of conscious, the more shape and form you'll begin to get. And all degrees, as they go, they begin to take shape. And degrees is nothing but conscious, expanding, like I showed you. 1 degree, then it expands out into 90. So it's just conscious expanding. And this is what degrees are. And it's a deep thing I want y'all to grasp. Now I want to get into the Lucifer experiment, because this has to do with 6 degrees of separation. Now grasp. We all know the story of Lucifer. Smartest guy in the universe. Then he was cut off from the all existence, placed in his own void. And it's a deep thing. Now I want y'all to grasp. Very deep, so focus. Imagine if this paper is that void. No, I'm sorry. Imagine if this paper is the all conscious, that all living beings are consciously connected. And this is its own existence. And all things are one, like the paper. Everything on the paper is just the paper. It's all one. Now grasp. This is life. All oneness. Now we all know Lucifer disconnected himself. He was cut off into the void. So now you got all this consciousness, all living life, all connected as one. And then you have the separation. This little slit, 1 degree of conscious, separated from the whole allness of conscious. And this would be Lucifer. But there's a problem. There's no movement. You're in the void. There's no up, there's no down, there's no side to side. It's like being in the ocean. If you have nothing there, you have no reference point. There's no up and down, there's no side to side, there's nothing. Mind you, this is all the space Lucifer has. This is his void. 1 degree of conscious. So it's like closing your eyes. Where's left, right, up and down? This is my point. Remove yourself from the physical. Close your eyes. All you is just you in that void. That small little space. You see it if you have your eyes closed. And that's how this is. It's a deep thing you have to grasp. Now, you got the all conscious. And then you have the separation. That little 1 degree line. That would be Lucifer. And he's separated from all of this. It's just this space, and that's it. There's nowhere to go. So that's a problem. But now the conscious expands. So this was Lucifer's conscious as 1 degree, and he expanded it out to 90 degrees. So now he has all this space of conscious to maneuver in. And it's a deep thing, because then he does the same the other way. Expand my conscious this way. And then you have that amount of space now to play in and maneuver. And you got the degrees of conscious expanding. Now Lucifer has this space all to himself to build up on. He's starting to take away from the void, filling it. So it's a deep thing you have to grasp with conscious. Then he keeps on going, expanding the conscious until you get 360 degrees. So the conscious, he expanded it. And he's taking away from the empty space. Now you have 360 degrees. And Lucifer has all of this to maneuver around in now. But there's a problem. He's blocked off. Can't get any more space now. So the conscious was expand 360. Can't go backwards now because that's what you're doing. If you keep going in this same circle, you're going nowhere. You're back in the void. And it's a deep thing you have to grasp. This is where deep intellect comes. This is where 365 degrees come from. The 5-degree gap. Therefore, he can keep expanding and take up more of the empty space by expanding the conscious more, because now it's not stuck here. And then you get that. The conscious is able to expand out and take up the space. And it's a deep thing you'll have to grasp. Because that's how, in the beginning, was the void. And God hovered over the waters and said, that's what this is. See, geometry, which is shapes and forms, they tell a story. Starts with 1 degree. Deep thing. Starts with 1 degree of conscious. Expanding out. Until you get hexagons and octagons and all types of crazy things, like icosahedrons. And then the life expands. And it's a deep thing y'all have to grasp. Geometry tells a story. The shapes and forms, the degrees, it tells a story. So that's basically the creation story right there. The degree of conscious expanding out. As it expands, it begins to take shape and form, as I just showed y'all in the beautiful geometry that I just broke down. That's top level sacred geometry right there. It's a deep thing you have to grasp. And you grasp what I'm saying. So you have to grasp how deep it is. It's a deep thing. Now I want to get into 6 degrees of separation, so y'all can fully grasp what that means. And it's a deep thing you have to grasp. See, you have an electron, proton, neutron, atom, cell, man. And that's your 6 degrees of separation from the all consciousness. So you have to grasp. It all starts with the electron. It came out the void. See, the proton and neutron, we know that comes from an up and down quark. So you can trace it. But the electron came out of nowhere. The void, the disconnect. And it's a deep thing you have to grasp. The electron, proton, neutron. Then you get the atom from that. Cell, man, sun, galaxy, universe, the 9. So you have to grasp, it's a deep thing. We are currently now, in this level of life that we're at, 6 degrees away from the all consciousness, meaning separation-wise. That's why I broke down the Lucifer experiment, so you can understand the disconnect from the all. And then the expanding of consciousness and the taking form and shape and the building up of the world or the universe from the 1 degree of consciousness. And as the life begins to build up, you become more and more separate from the all conscious that you came from, where all is one. You get atom, which is you get electron. This is the first beginnings of that. You get electron, proton, neutron, atom, cell, man. And as you ascend through the life, you disconnect more and more. So you have to grasp, everybody started as an atom. You was a sperm cell, you got an egg. A sperm cell is a cell. So you have to grasp. Atom, cell, man. You are all of those things. Electron, proton, neutron, the life starts from the beginning. So you started from the very beginning. And you've been living separated from the all from that point, all the way to this 6th degree point. And this is why we know very little about the all of the eternity of life. Because we like 6 degrees separate. See, if you go back to the electron stage, where it's just 1 degree separate, still ain't fully physical yet. The deal ain't sealed yet. You're only 1 degree away. Then the more the life builds, proton, neutron, atom, 4 degrees away now. Microcell, 5 degrees away. Man, 6 degrees away. Solar or the sun, 7 degrees away. Galaxy, 8 degrees away. Universe, 9 degrees away. So as the life is expanding, it's going farther and farther away from the true life, the life where all is one. And it's a deep thing you have to grasp. Because it's more than just universe. You got dual verses, a dooniverse. That's like 2 verses, 2 universes in one. And this is all deep things. I'm not sure if I can explain that to y'all yet. You got triverses where it's 3, but this is all like spiritual, like feminine and masculine, and the duality of life. So you got universe and dual verses in this deep thing, but y'all have to grasp. That's what 6 degrees of separation is. It's for the high priest knowledge, those that's high up that acquire certain knowledge and they understand the order of life and how it works. Then you can get an understanding of the degrees of separation. And it's a deep thing y'all have to grasp. It's just like I said, we're in hell. Or whatever you want to call it. You don't even have to look at it as hell, but the separation. As the life builds up, the life takes the life with it. So you have micro life within you. And we're micro life within the solar. So we're all in the same existence. So you have to grasp. We're all in that separation. This is why our creation story is told from the perspective of the void. Dark and empty and aloneness. And then 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4. So the creation story is nothing more than 6 days of creation. Atom, cell, because the atom is where you get the first physical body. Grasp. An electron, proton, neutron, until it all comes together, this is when you truly get the body, the one, the full body. So atom, cell, man, sun or solar system, galaxy, universe. 6 days of creation. You can go to sleep on the 7th. It's a simple thing y'all have to grasp. You can just reverse it, because Adam was made last, right? Okay, there you go. Reverse it. Universe, galaxy, solar, man, cell, atom. There you go. Beautiful. 6 days of creation. See, it all comes from geometry, shapes. So the creation story is nothing more than math, expressed how whoever's telling it decides to. That's why I said you have to learn from the life. It's all observation. Now, how you explain it, it all goes on how good you are at explaining things. But it's all simple observation. You understand sacred geometry. What I just broke down, that's sacred geometry. I know y'all hated that in school, but you grasped. But they teach you different in school. But it's a deep thing. But you have to grasp. Sacred geometry, you get a better understanding on things, and you know. However you decide to tell it. So this is why you have many creation stories from every different civilization. But they're all similar, even though they have different names and different characters. But the story all starts the same. Dark and void, and then it's expanded, meaning things are created. Consciousness expanded. So if I was telling the creation story, it would be how I just told it when I broke down degrees, or when I broke down the Lucifer experiment, and how the conscious expanded, and then you got the... So I would have broke it down that way, and you grasp. It is still a creation story, just like any other one, but it's how my conscious sees the shapes, and we all see it the same, but this is how I word it. But it's a deep thing you have to grasp. I basically just did a video on geometry. Now, I never went to college or took up mathematics or anything like this, but there's no professor that can't say I'm not right in the way I'm breaking down geometry. It's just weird to them probably if they hear it, like, oh man, we don't explain it that way. But he's right. How I was breaking down a hexagon, and every shape has a numbered degree. So this is not made up. I know y'all probably think, oh, it's only 360 degrees. He's making up stuff. No. That's why I did the video, what is 365 degrees? So y'all minds can expand so that you can receive and understand it's more than 360 degrees. That's just a full circle, a trap. But it's a deep thing. But that's why we have the compass at 360 degrees, because y'all trapped here in hell. But it's a deep thing. You need the 365 degrees to keep the conscious expanding out. But I broke that down enough. The main thing is this. I broke down sacred geometry. Now, this is like 16 years worth of college that people go to just to understand geometry the way I just broke it down. Where all shapes have a number of degrees. See, when they break down geometry in school, it sounds retarded. But any fool that's watching right now can fully grasp. Like, okay, I get it. All shapes have a certain amount of degrees. The more complex the shape, the higher the degree. All the way up. Till you get to Metatron's cube, which is all shapes in one. So that's like infinity degrees. It's a deep thing you have to grasp. It's so many deep things that y'all have to grasp, but it's hard to put things in words, like the Merkaba and the Kundalini, and how y'all believe that you have to wake that up, and truly that's like the trap or the bind that keeps the mind, spirit, and body tangled. So the Kundalini, Merkaba, things, whatever words y'all like to use for these things. This is truly what keeps the mind, body, and spirit entangled, entrapped in the same frequency. And when people say, oh, I want to awaken my Kundalini, well, you don't want to activate it or awaken it. You want to more or less disconnect from it. So we think activate, but it's more or less of a disconnect from it. If you can disconnect from the Kundalini or Merkaba, then you can maneuver through the eternity of the life. There's nothing to keep you trapped, conscious-wise, spirit-wise. The body don't matter. It's a deep thing. But this is what the Kundalini and the Merkaba and all these things truly are. It's not a matter of you activating that or that's a good thing. It's what keeps your body, spirit, mind all entangled together. This is why you can't just say, I'm going to take my astral body and just disconnect it from my body and my mind. And this is why it's all entangled together. See, the mind is the conscious. The spirit is the astral body. And then you have the physical body. Mind, spirit, body. And they're all entangled and intertwined together through the Kundalini or the spinal force. That force is what keeps all of that binded and stuck, so to say, together. And if you can deactivate it, you can expand the conscious and pretty much do whatever you want. It's a deep thing. Y'all probably are not going to grasp. But like the pineal gland. We think the pineal gland they was removing that in the past. And this is how it was a deep thing, man. I don't know how to fully explain it, but they was removing the pineal gland. This is why Shiva and all the ancients, and you see them with the eyeball or the hole in the forehead, because usually it's not an eyeball, it's just an opening. It was removing the pineal. And I guess this was helping people's brains expand, or helping the right and left move in oneness, where you can just activate it all. I'm not sure exactly, but I know they were removing the pineal gland. But it's a deep thing. A lot of things is confused and flip-flopped around, and it's a deep thing. The main thing you have to grasp is nothing I just said is theory, because y'all confuse theories and concepts with reality. Everything I just broke down, I broke it down through geometry. You know, geometry is real. And you know, equations add up. And everything I broke it down through geometry. I broke it down through life. So you can't ever get confused and say, oh, that's a cool theory. That's all it's just broke down. That's why I didn't break the Lucifer experiment down how others may have. I did it my way. I just gave it that name because I don't have names for anything that I teach. I just know life. And some things coalesce with the things that y'all say. So that teaching I did called Lucifer Experiment, when I showed you how the conscious expanded out and all of that, I did that with geometry. Nobody else does the Lucifer Experiment with geometry. I did it that way so you won't confuse what I'm talking about as a theory. So you know everything is real. So everything you got out of this video is literal. You just have to grasp it some kind of way. And it's a deep thing. You just got 6 degrees of separation with your main man Solace. Donate. It's a secret society knowledge. This is college knowledge. Y'all pay to go to college. Get real. It's your main man Solace.